Hi, I'm Joan Newcomb. Today's Mystic Minute is about working with guides and devas. Some years ago, I created a garden using techniques from Findhorn and from Paralambda. And basically what you do is you co-create a garden with nature. Connect to the deva of your garden, you connect to nature, and you have these meetings where you decide what to plant and things like that. So I created this garden and I had a lot of fun doing the soil prep in the fall, putting compost on it and stuff like that. And then at the appropriate time around the spring equinox, I sat down with the seed catalogs and talked to the deva of my garden about what seeds to plant. And I dutifully ordered and I planted them. And then at some point when things started growing, there was kind of a disconnect that started. I picked the baby carrots to share with my kids. I had a problem with all the dandelions growing that they told me not to pick. I wanted to feed the dandelions to my rabbits. It was also too far from the house, so it was a real hassle to drag the hose to water it. What ended up happening was like nothing I had planted really grew, and then these green things came up at the end of the summer, and I got the strong message not to pick them. And by October, I had a pumpkin patch. There had been pumpkin in my compost from the year before, and that's the thing that manifested. Nothing else that I had intended or worked with the devas about came out of it, but pumpkins did. And some of the things I learned from that experience was, one, I didn't know anything about gardening, so I didn't know the right questions to ask. I got into a power struggle with the devas, which didn't make any sense. And I actually think in all the questions that I asked them, I didn't really verify if that was the right location for the garden. Now, it doesn't make any sense to get into a power struggle with devas. It is a partnership with the unseen so that you're both interacting together. One is not more powerful than the other. You both have different information. They provide a certain amount of information, and you provide the footwork and the action. And the important thing is also knowing the right questions to ask. As I said, I'm not a gardener. I don't know anything. I did not ask the right questions. And my method of discernment, which was doing a form of kinesiology, wasn't really strong because of all those variables. I also did journaling, so I would listen to what I thought they were telling me and I'd write it down. And I would also kinesiology test that. A lot of this is just practice on working with them. But I look back on that now, and a large part of the power struggle is that I didn't take ownership of my half of it. If I had been a confident gardener doing this, I probably wouldn't have even asked about weeding. I just would have weeded the things that didn't belong there. If I'd been a confident gardener and if I had been confident in my interaction and communication with them, I would have easily let go of the desire to weed the dandelions. Who knows? Maybe dandelions provide something to the soil in that first season of the garden. So the point is with working with unseen help, with guides and devas, is that it is an equal partnership. You are working in harmony. They're not forcing you or telling you to do something you don't want to do. There's total free will to interact. The more you communicate with them, the more confident you will get with the information coming to you and how to respond. It just takes practice. And you can actually apply the same techniques and the same method to creating anything in your life. I've done a form of this in aspects of my work. I would have regular staff meetings with the devas of my business. And when I started working with them, amazing things started happening. My business increased exponentially. So it's kind of a funny and subtle thing, because if you look at it, the power struggle was really coming from my egoic personality that wanted to be in charge. But it's not a matter of totally surrendering and giving up all power to the unseen. Just because you can't see them doesn't mean that they have power over you. You have complete power and authority within your own reality. It's a partnership. And just like in any partnership, there's a give and take, and there's a reaction and an action. There's a responding. So you're not magically expecting them to bring you miracles. You're not magically expecting them to do the physical actions that are required. They can supply information and inspiration, but you have your own information and experience to bring to the table as well. So validate that, because you have life experience that you are bringing to the table that is part of the interaction, part of the dance. Play with this. See what synchronistically shows up in your life when you do start to do this, because that's another thing that happens when you work with the unseen, is that they supply inspiration, and things in surprising ways will show up in your life. And if you like these videos, you can subscribe to them on YouTube. You can also sign up below to get them in your inbox. And if you want to know more, you can go to my website, joan-newcomb.com. I have a weekly podcast there. I have a weekly e-zine that you can sign up for, or you can read it on my blog. I have lots of other ways that you can work with me. So you can go to my website, joan-newcomb.com, and I'll see you for another Mystic Minute in a couple of days.